Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
I'm a relationship hack.
Run up and get touched up, suicide. And all of y'all know my style. I excel, then prevail. Run up and get touched up, suicide, that's it. And all of y'all know my style. I excel, then prevail.
It's Monday, the day before the devil's holiday. No, I don't believe in it. Halloween is tomorrow. Let me just say this, man. Halloween, I don't give a damn what nobody say. Halloween was one of my favorite goddamn holidays. What? Free candy?
Did you go jacking trick-or-treaters?
I never had to jack. You gotta remember, I was always a highly beautiful child. So candy was given freely.
That's my choice anyway.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Hey, they hating on my zoom in. Hey, y'all, we just gonna promote some things real quick. Yes, I've zoomed in on myself. So what? Over here hating. So check it out. You're listening to the ZOWHAT Morning Show. And you already know what the deal is. Did he turn my music down? Yes, he did. Just leave the music alone, my friend. My homeboy Darren is in the building. We always give him a hard time because I believe, like basketball coaches, right? Let me just say this. You know, the basketball coach only gets on the player that he feels has the greatest potential. Am I lying?
That's true.
The dude that's on bum status, he's not really talking to you.
Nope.
He ain't got nothing to say to you. Because he knows, like, oh, he's just too far gone. Jesus. There's nothing we can do with him. So they just don't even talk to you.
Waste of energy.
They don't even ask you to go get water for everybody. They just, it's almost like you're a piece of furniture. So with Darren has tremendous potential. So I be on his ass like a cheap suit from Aardvarks. You know the little, the thrift store on Melrose. Gang of cheap suits in there, buddy, and they tight. So I'm on you.
Pat you on the back before you give you a gut punch.
Nah, hey, Darren's a good dude, man. He keeps turning down my music, though. I don't know why. Oh, the DJ. That's right, we have a DJ. It's the DJ's turn. I'm trying to control everything. I should stop. Anyway, let me just do this. As is commonplace, you know what I like to do? Somebody's saying they can hear the callers slightly. First off, there are no callers. Just let's understand that. Zoe's talking. There are no callers right now. But let me do this. As is commonplace, I like to promote businesses. I just did a deal, right, with a shoe company called Android Ohm. Now, this is a serious deal that we did. It's very serious. And the deal is quite simple. For me promoting them, right, on this platform, they're going to give the listeners of the ZOWHAT Show and the Voice of Reason a 25% discount. All you got to do is go to their website and put in the promotional code Zoe Williams. AndroidOhm.com was founded in 2008 by designer and creative director Javier Laval. You know, you got to have one of those fashion director names. Javier Laval. 'Tis I of the Lavals. The Highland Lavals. Right?
Javier Label.
Hey, Javier. Yeah, your name is Label. Javier Laval. Right? In Los Angeles, the brother designs modern footwear, right, for men with no limitations. To my knowledge, one of the first luxury sneaker shoe lines. Luxury. Now, he designs them in LA, but they're handmade in Italy. Super flyness. And I did a deal with him, and the deal, The deal is simple. I get to just pick whatever shoe I want. I'm not going to be greedy either. I'm not going to go to the website and pick 18 pairs of shoes and have them delivered tomorrow. You know how black people do. Next day air. Like 32 pairs of shoes, send them tomorrow. So I'm not going to do it that way. You know, but I just told him, man, I said, listen, man, I just want to see the company grow. And I want to see you grow. It's a black-owned business. And he's doing well. I mean, what I like about the brother is you don't know it's a black-owned company. So the shoes are in Saks Fifth Avenue. So people who buy Pradas and Gucci and Versace, they buy his shoes too. Because they're on the same display case. You know, high-end luxury shoes. And I'm just proud of the brother that, you know, he's created a brand that's really high quality. I have on a pair right now. Named after Runyon Canyon, the Runyons. You know, the reflective pack. Yes. I mean, I'm not going to be running anywhere, so I'll be walking and reflecting.
Mindful.
No, but dope company, AndroidOhm.com. Android like the phone, Ohm. You can get a little tricky. It's a French word. It's just home with 2 M's. Android Home, right? HOMME.com. AndroidOhm.com. Go there now. You already know the mandate is to cash mob. That was a word we used to use back in the day. Cash mob. Go cash mob them right now. Support these guys. You know, because like I said, you guys are the lifeline for a lot of these guys' businesses. So please, please, please push it over the top. I'd appreciate it. The next business we have here to support, they're close to a record. Kev, put this in the camera. Put it in the camera, Kev. They're close to a record this month. All right? I love these guys. They're close to a record. I talked to him yesterday. The record is 121 or 123 cases. They're at 102 right now. They sold 102 cases this month.
I know 4 people who got some. 4 people who got the
Total package energy is the truth.
Yeah.
I'm urging everybody to run out and get some of this energy. I drink it all the time now.
Hey, my client, she came to the session. She had one. I was like, where you learn about that? Yeah, she knew somebody else I knew who told her about it. They listened to the show and they told her about it. She went and got some. And she came back. She was like, they promote this on your show, right? I was like, how the hell you know about that?
What?
Yeah.
Wait, okay. Listen, I love this product. I found out about it because the trainer that trains my son during the off season, he's a spiritual guru, Yoda-like trainer. He trains NBA guys, but he trains using, you know, Qigong and all these breathing techniques while you're lifting weights. And what's crazy is he doesn't lift heavy. So you understand that. He never lets guys lift heavy because he understands the strain on the tendons, lifting wrong and all of that. And then there's this mindfulness and this spiritual component that goes with it. So all of that went into the making of this product. Total package energy. No sugars, no carbs, amino acids. You know, it's what is it? I have to remember here. It's an energy boost, neural enhancer, stamina sustainer, and antioxidant. And he made it for athletes, and they can drink this and not get tagged by the NBA or the MLB or the NFL for like some foreign. You got something in you, boy. You got something in you, don't you?
Foreign substance.
That's why you're fast. Something's in you. So this ain't that, right? This is very good. And what I now find is people who are not athletes, right? What's really cool is I think drivers, truck drivers going across country. This is better to me than 5-hour energy and all of that other stuff. This is better than all of that to me. So you could use this and I think it's going to be good, you know? So total package energy, push them over the top. Everybody get 2 cases right now. And then my homeboy is in the building, Mr. Hassan McCullough of, you know you're famous now, right?
How?
At least your juice is famous.
It's good for something to be
Weed
famous.
juice, man.
So I got a new website going up. Homeboy's
Yeah.
doing my website. Triumph Beyond Belief.
Look
Doing
at
my
that.
website.
Triumph Beyond Designs.
Design, my bad.
You out here playing games. How you gonna
listen.
rep somebody and not know their name? Triumph Beyond Belief.
I said the website wrong. All right. But no, he's doing my website. My website is down right now, but it's gonna be up in the next couple weeks because I'm getting a new design on my website. You know, you guys know about the problem I was having with my website, so I'm having somebody else do my website and
Hey,
everything will be up.
Trust me. If you going through Jarrell, Superman's daddy, Kal-El's father, Jarrell, your website gonna be cold, brother.
Yeah.
All you got to do is go see my website. I am Zoe Williams. He did my website. It's cold-blooded, right? So we got 2 promotions in for 1.
Pretty
Triumph
much.
Beyond Designs and weed juice. What flavors of weed juice do we have here today?
Oh, we got that mango today.
Give it to me now.
We got mango. We got coconut. Somebody asked me to bring coconut water because they so-called want to drink coconut water. But
Give it to me.
You know.
Give me the coconut water and the mango.
well, you know, it's like a lot of people here.
I can care.
Oh, I got a beet juice today too.
Ooh. Oh shit! I can't take 3.
Juice.
Okay,
I got,
cool.
I got a tropical
Doc,
pear.
would you like some juice?
Would you like what's left of the juice? That's a good one. That's a good one. Right?
Weed juice in the building. Total Package Energy in the building.
good.
Android Ohm in the building. And then, of course, the lady who did my app. Mind Blowing Mobiles,
Yeah.
Wanda Trotter.
Just talked to her yesterday.
Wanda's no joke.
Nope.
You don't believe her work? Go look at my app, Zoe Williams. No spaces. You can. It's on, what is that? The iStore, the Apple Store,
iTunes,
I don't know why.
iTunes store.
iTunes Store. Jesus, whatever the name of it is, it's too many eyes. It's very selfish.
One eye.
The iStore or iTunes Store. Okay, it's on there where the Apple people go. And Google Play. Zoe Williams, no spaces, downloaded. You can see her work there. Wanda Trotter is the CEO, founder, and creator of mindblowingmobiles.com. Go there right now. If you got a small business, you got to do business with her because she's ridiculous. And I think she undercharges. So get with her now while she's inexpensive. No, because some people be charging $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 for your app, and it does everything. But she, for some reason, does not. Okay, cool. All right, let's not give her any ideas.
Price just went up.
I think I kind of just did that. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, also, I'm at the Black Power Awards. What is that? I'll be down there from the 17th through the 19th. I'm doing an after party for one of my favorite rappers of all time, Rakim.
Rockeezy.
To me, Rakim. Eric B. and Rakim, paid in full.
Man, stop it.
The rhyme goes
Stop it.
on.
Stop it.
Untouchable. Follow the leader.
Microphone fiend.
Microphone fiend. Lyrics of fury. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, baby.
It's going down and oh, damn it. Wanda Trotter heard us. She's in here. She's gonna raise the prices. No. She's in the chat room.
That's hilarious.
She's just chatting you. Thanks for the tips, though.
Awesome. So I'm gonna be there, man. It's gonna be crazy. So that's dope. I think I've promoted everything. Let me get Kev in here because he's got t-shirts and things he wants to promote.
Well, yeah, I had to switch up the game a little bit because I appreciate all the donations that's been going out to Cop Stop Guardian, but they're coming in kind of slowly, so I had to switch it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, if you guys been to my Real Nagas YouTube channel, you guys seen the wordplay series that I've done. I actually just uploaded episode 5 this morning, so you can go check that out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Golden Phoenix knowledge series, and that's going to be on patreon.com. You can go to Patreon, that's Patreon/Real Nagas. And if you subscribe to that Real Nagas channel, you'll have exclusive access to the Phoenix series that I'm going to put out. And so that's going to be documentaries like The Dragon and the Phoenix, The Power of Organization, what is astrology, the use of more science and symbolism in movies, am I black or greater than that? what is dark matter and dark energy. So, and a lot more of these videos. So it's called the Golden Phoenix Knowledge Series. And if you want access to that, you guys go over there. And as well, if you sign up, you guys get rewards. But what's going to happen is if you do subscribe, part of that money gets donated to the Cop Stop Guardian app. So now you can do two things, kill two birds with one stone. Exactly. You can get the knowledge and help Cop Stop Guardian at the same time. So go over to patreon.com, patreon/Real Nagas, and donate as well. If you just want to donate the money, go to gofundme.com/CopStopGuardian and hook it up, please. We need that 15 grand for the app.
All right, there we go. In the name of Jesus, we bless this broadcast. I'm not a Christian. I'm just listen. You're listening to the ZOWHAT Morning Show. It is 17 on the West Coast. That's 2:17 on the East. You know the topic is about to be crazy. I got my homeboy, Dr. Alan Berger, in the building. The topic gotta be meaty with a name like Burger. Womp, womp,
Just don't put any cheese on that. Don't put any cheese on. You just did.
I think I've already cheesed it up. Jesus.
You did.
Gosh. Yo, it's about to be crazy up in here. We're going to take a quick break. DJ Julian Ramirez is with us right now. Quick mega mix. We're going to holler at y'all in a minute, all right? Deuces. Ladies and gentlemen, the ZOWHAT Morning Show has returned to the building. Listen, Jeff Brown's late ass is here.
Yes, I am.
A gang of somebody called old CPT time.
That's right.
Nino Clown.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you who I am. I am the beginning. You remember when your grandfather, you go over your grandparents' house and they had the VCR and it was like blinking 12 o'clock all the time? I'm the beginning of that shit now. I am the beginning of old dudes now.
Smart metaphorical comedy.
Yes.
Yes.
That's who I am. I bought my grandparents an answering machine. Swear to God.
If you're pedaling slow, you might not have caught the joke.
Absolutely. I bought them an answering machine back in the day. I had one Star Search, thought I was doing something. So this was back when they had answering machines. I swear to God, until they died, this was my grandparents' answering message. Well, hell, I don't know what we're supposed to do with the thing. Well, the boy bought it for us, baby. We need to use it. Well, the hell, get him on the phone. Well, goddamn it, you don't talk to me like that. I don't give a fuck with you. Boo! For years. And nobody in my family would fix it.
Okay, so
I'm them now.
So here's the beauty of that. That is a perfect example of what the Inappropriate Hour is all about.
Yeah.
He gives himself that kind of time. Unfortunately, we don't have that kind of time here. He doesn't know how to be second fiddle.
No.
He doesn't.
No.
He's only inappropriate.
I only play solos. I don't know how to strum. Whenever I play the guitar.
Hey, who was Wesley Snipes' character in Mo Better Blues?
Your tongue is so
Shadow.
Your Shadow. You just
if you grandiose
step out.
motherfuckers would start playing the right music, the people would come.
Jeff Brown has finally made it into the building. So listen, if you're just tuning in, you're in time because we're at the top of the topic here. Man, we got a powerful show today. And a lot of people don't want to have this conversation, even though it is one that is definitely needed, a much needed conversation in many different households across America. The road to recovery. A more in-depth look at what it takes to rebound from substance abuse. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Sometimes families are just ill-equipped. They don't have the toolbox.
Junior on that shit again.
And one thing that could send somebody over the edge is a family without the toolbox. Because now it's emotional, it's passionate, it's angry, it's tears.
It's everything but informed.
Exactly. So, and that could really push somebody, way over the edge. And, me personally, like I got a personal story that can just frame this topic perfectly. Anybody who's purchased my book, The Relationship Dismount, knows about my early upbringing and you know, my brother. I got an older brother, second oldest brother. His name is Maurice, right? Now, we call him Big Mo.
Of course.
Because Big Mo had to be Big Mo. You understand? He didn't have his daddy, but he had to be father and big brother
Right.
to the 5 siblings under him.
Had to step in.
Now, this nigga was built like
Big Mo.
built like Karl Malone at 16 without lifting weights.
Oh, damn.
He was Big Mo. So, you know, Big Mo, he probably don't want me talking like this because, you know, he's very private kind of guy. He's Pisces, sensitive.
Damn the Pisces party. Big Mo. I don't want him
Big
up
Mo,
here.
yeah. But he's struggling with his own little thing, man, and it's hard to see somebody that you looked up to. You understand? Like going through it in that way, you know? And I brought in my homeboy. Y'all, listen, this is my guy right here. Let me tell you why he my guy. Because he keeps it real. This is not a sugarcoating kind of dude.
Right.
He gonna tell you the truth. And what I like about it, he gonna let you deal with it, but you're not gonna deal with it alone. He gonna walk the path with you, but he ain't gonna do the work for you. You under dig? My homeboy.
Yeah, I think so.
Dr. Alan Berger.
Yeah.
Has returned.
Thank you.
It's about to go down in the town. I've got questions. How to set up? How should a family set up a family intervention? Because sometimes an intervention is like hunting. You got to find them.
Right.
Then you got to trap them.
Right.
It's like a subtle trap game. It's like hunting.
You got to put a big screen TV box
be
outside your
outside.
mama's door.
Right.
So he'll think it's a big screen TV in there. And he'll sneak through the window and he cut on the lights and just everybody sitting there with a Bible.
You understand?
Sit your ass down, Junior. Sit your ass down.
It's hunting.
Right.
And you got to be subtle because like big game, you can spook them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they smell you coming downwind.
Like some of them like wild turkeys. They hard to catch. God damn it. We trying to catch Junior. God damn, my TV was just here. How the fuck did he do that?
Right. So, you know, just even the concept of setting it up is difficult. Right. And then once you set it up, we talked about toolbox earlier. What's the language like? What language can you use and what language you should stay away from?
Yeah. Besides, we love you and we're here for you. We know that shit. We like some good shit.
Right. Dr. Berger?
Well, look, Zoe, let's start with this idea. There's no neutral here. You're either a part of the solution or you're a part of the problem.
Here we go.
Right? So let's just start with that, right? So you're either a part of the solution or you're a part of the problem. And what people have to ask themselves is, who do they want to be? Who do you want to be in this scene? Do you want to be a part of the solution? If you do, then not only do you need to look at what the alcoholic or the addict is doing, you need to look at what you're doing.
Right.
You
Right.
need to take a look at how you may, even though it might be unintentionally, contributing to the problem. And see, this is the real hard thing, because guess what? Most families that are confronted with addiction are busy looking at who?
The person.
You got it, man.
Yeah.
You got it.
They
They're
can't get past, oh, my baby,
No,
giving
they can't.
blowjobs behind my house.
And there's a reason for that, though.
Yeah.
See, because the anxiety goes through the roof. You know, when you see somebody you love that's suffering, there's nothing that's worse than to watch someone you love that's suffering and then be in that place where you want to do something, but you have no idea what to do.
Wow.
And that's what we're dealing with when we're talking about what's happening for a family. The anxiety is through the roof, so.
Yeah. And then on top of that, because to build on your point, in my book, The Relationship Dismount, I talk about how relationship is a mirror. Your dysfunction can't heal their dysfunction.
Right on.
And then, like I said, if you don't have the tools, it's like, oh my God. Now you're responding from your dysfunctional place, how you would normally deal with situations, and you're coming down on them like a ton of bricks. And the crazy thing is,
Like a caveman trying to give first aid to a bullet wound.
That might work. That's not bad.
Feel me? That's pretty good.
Like that. Exactly. That's a great point. So Doc, I want to talk about these layers and these levels to it, because there's also codependencies in that dysfunctional cycle.
Yes.
I'm ill. I'm sick. I have an addiction.
Yeah.
But the addiction could have grown out of a toxic environment, and now we're in this cycle. You won't recognize your toxicity, but you're trying to use what you think is your sobriety as a judgment stick. Like, oh, you should have done this, and look at you, look what you've done to yourself. Speak to that.
Well, look, the framework that you're laying down here is really important, and let's kind of take a look at it from this perspective. So, see, what we say is that, of course, addiction is caused by certain dynamics. And are they dysfunctional family dynamics? Of course, that contributes to somebody picking up to use.
Right.
But what's really interesting about addiction is that if you have the propensity to go down that path, that when that switch is thrown in your brain, now you're gone.
Wow.
And it doesn't matter what the family's doing. Their dysfunction at that point is irrelevant.
Wow.
The only thing that's relevant at that point is, can you do something to create an atmosphere that's going to encourage this person to get help?
Wow.
And we'll talk about that. But I'm right with you. Look, you either transmit your dysfunction or you transmit your transformation.
Ooh.
That's the choice here, man. You're transmitting your dysfunction or you're transmitting your transformation. And that's what we really want to help families do, is how do we deal with this anxiety they're having? See, there's 3 ways we deal with this stuff. If I'm anxious and what Jeff is doing is concerning me, I got 3 choices in dealing with him. Maybe with Jeff there'll be about 33 choices, but we'll start with 3. All right, we'll start with 3. All right, so the first thing, I can try to control him. I can say, where are you going, Jeff? I'm going to keep track of him.
Right.
Tell me when you leave the house.
Right.
Get all the alcohol out of the house. I'm going to take away money. I'm going to take away your car keys. I'm going to try to contain what he's doing.
Right.
Doesn't work. Right? It doesn't work, because what he's going to probably do is say, screw you, because one of the things that addicts have is they got this defiant independence. Nobody's going to tell them what to do.
I'm fine.
That's right. So if I try to do that, all I'm going to get is that I'm fine or screw you.
Right.
Wow.
Second thing I can do is I could try to make everything perfect for Jeff. Try to, take all the wrinkles out of his life. Right? And just make it so everything is perfect for Jeff. Well, that doesn't work, because life isn't perfect, man. It's, what we say is the problem is never the problem. The problem is how we're dealing with the problem. So that's not going to be a solution.
Wow.
Third choice people do when they get anxious, they just cut them off. They say, I'm done with you. Get out of the house. I don't want to talk to you. All 3 of those things are a part of the problem. All 3 of those things are a dysfunctional response to a situation that needs something more than that.
Wow.
And we're going to talk about what that more is, because that's the important thing here.
Absolutely. Kev? Let me ask you, have you ever dealt with like any family members or anybody who had to deal with some type of substance abuse, and were you guys able to get them on the other side of that experience?
Yeah, actually, I mean, not alcohol so much, well, not as a major thing, but definitely, drugs. My family was thick in it, selling it, drug kingpins to, being strung out. So, I seen it on many levels. And just recently, though, I had a friend, as he was talking about the intervention, and they don't want to hear shit. If they're not ready to hear the shit, they don't want to hear anything. A friend of mine was living with this lady, and she would lock herself up in the room and drink all the time. I mean, just being there all day with a bottle of vodka, just laid out.
Damn.
And so she came home, and the girl had some internal bleeding. So she had been doing this for like a couple of years, and she hadn't done anything. She was scared to say something to her, because the girl was kind of pretty strong personality. So she felt that if she say something to her, then she wasn't going to be a friend.
Risk the relationship. She was going to lose the relationship.
So what happened though, when she came home and the girl was bleeding, she had to say something then. So she told, the girl had to go to the hospital, had to get rushed to the hospital and all that. And then, they found out they had pumped her stomach and all that. So then she just like, fuck this. Let me just call in all the homies and we're going to hold an intervention. Did the same thing. She comes home, everybody's sitting there chilling. and she was mad at my friend for calling the
Putting it
intervention.
together.
Everybody else, everybody
She's
else
the
there is
problem
getting
now.
at her. Everybody
Right.
getting at her hardcore, even way more than my friend was. But you the one that told my shit to everybody else. So now that whole relationship is blown to hell. So you can do all of that, but until they're ready to change, there's really nothing you can do for somebody.
Well,
I've seen it up close. I lived with them.
Yeah, but listen, Kev, see, what I would say to you, though, if that person reached out to somebody who knows how to sit down with a family, then when that person tried to flip it and say, look, what you just did to me is you betrayed me, that person would jump in and stop that, because addicts and alcoholics are great at flipping around.
They should have had somebody more professional.
That's right. See, and that's what I'm saying. Because
if
if I'm sitting in that room, you know what the first thing I say to her? So I said, look at what you just did to her. She's trying to help you, and you're turning it into like she's doing something wrong.
Right.
Do you realize what's going down here? That's what this is about? Are you kidding me?
Right.
You are dying from alcoholism and you're pissed off about her. You know how many people know you're alcoholic? You think you've hidden it? Come on now.
Everybody knows.
Give me a break.
Everybody knows.
Is this wrong? What I generally like to do is paint an individual into the corner of their particular situation. As in, okay.
So you want to intellectually Mayweather them.
Yes. So we all.
So they could be like, fuck him. Right. I'm never going back to his house.
So in the words of my father, he used to say this when we would fuck up. So me and your mama a couple of dumbasses, huh? you just invented that shit you doing. So I would ask this person.
Stupid boy.
I would ask this person.
So me and your mother a couple of
dumbasses. So we just got back from the hospital pumping your stomach. Is that okay? Is that normal? First, just to get the watermark in the room. Show of hands. Everybody here just had their stomach pumped from emergency alcohol poisoning. Everybody? Okay. You? Okay, yes. So is that normal? Was that something you were planning? Did you have that in your date book? Okay, Tuesday at 8:30, I'm gonna have my stomach pumped because I'm gonna drink too much. We need to establish.
I'm never going back to Uncle Jeff's.
Yeah, you don't want Uncle Jeff. That's right. Especially my money. My money, if you got to borrow money from me, that come with a lecture. That come with advice.
Yeah, that ain't free.
You don't just roll like this. Ain't no ATM, nigga. Right? You gonna get it?
You do understand why you borrow.
It's not a free sample, right? It's not a free sample.
No,
We're not
baby.
getting free sample.
I guess that's the question I pose to you. Is one, is it suggested,
This
and two,
motherfucker drank my juice.
is it? Did I? I thought you had the one with the big toenail in it.
wanted two today.
No, I thought he had
Big
the one with the toenails
The
in
big
it.
toenail
I
in
don't
it.
like the toenail.
Don't tell that to Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay, well, just finish.
Kevin's never gonna
I
sell
don't like
another
this one.
coconut.
I don't like the one, the coconut with the shit hanging there. That's the only one I don't
That
like.
wasn't me. That's him.
Okay,
him
finish
down
your
there.
point, Jeff.
You know, you see the girls with the long
gotta come
fingernails.
up here and
Anyway,
defend
is that to do a bovine feces check with the addict? Is it okay to go? Is it suggested? And if so, how successful is it to go look? Do you think sucking dick behind Ralph's is regular? Let's just see if we got to get her. Because if it's okay with you, then, our power is on. I can get the fuck on. I'm just trying to figure out.
That's okay with
Do
you.
you think it's all right to steal Big Mama couch?
And listen, it's secretly, this is the problem with addiction. Because in the addict's mind, right is wrong and wrong is right.
Right.
Wow.
You gotta get this, man. You gotta get this. Right is wrong and wrong is right. And that is how the person's brain changes when they got this disease. Right is wrong, wrong is right.
It is.
And that's the story of their life, man. That's how they're functioning.
My family member tried to set me up to get jacked.
Really?
And she called me over to the house saying that somebody had jacked her and that I needed to come over. She called me and my cousin like, y'all need to come and help me. We knew.
And bring a couple of $100 with you.
And she was like, y'all need to come and help me right now. So she was like, wait a minute. So her whole story just didn't make any sense. So we started calling around and asking and shit what was going on. They was like, nah,
That's right.
Really?
She tried to call us over and get us jacked. Now we're a family. This ain't distant family.
But you know what?
This is family.
That's
big.
what wrong
This
is
big.
right. Wrong is right.
This
Wrong
is
is
big,
right.
and it ties into the wrong is right concept. I have a question, Doc. How does self-hate play into recovery?
Well, big time, man. I mean, this whole thing. See, once this juggernaut gets rolling, obviously, I believe self-hate is one of the things that move us towards wanting to do something to get away from who we are to begin with, right? To try to find a solution. So when a person turns to alcohol or other drugs, they're trying to find a way to be whole. To fill up all of those empty spaces inside of them. So see, it's a very functional thing. But like I said, then if you got this other thing, when the addiction takes over, the brain is hijacked. We know that clearly today.
Right.
And now you see a person, if they go way past any values they had.
Man.
The values are now subjugated.
You know all the stuff.
They're subjugated to the disease.
Yeah.
All that's important is how can I get high?
Right.
Wow.
And everything
That was it.
in their life is directed at making that happen. And like I said, anything
there's
is
no bad
okay
choice.
if it's going to get me
Man,
over there. If I
it
got to
was-
jack my family, man, that's
gonna do
that's
it. Dude.
that's their
Man.
fault, not mine.
feel sorry.
I mean, they came over. That's it. They came to the house.
You
That's
shouldn't
not
be-
my
yeah, you
fault.
shouldn't
They
believe
just
me.
come to the house.
Right.
You know what I do.
And that's why we didn't go.
Good move,
Hold on, because I want to ask the doc one more question about this idea around the self-hate. I think you called it the despised self. Go deeper into that. What is the despised self?
Yeah, I love this question because it opens up this whole talk to our development, right? So early on in life, one of the most, I'd say the most important drive is to get to be loved, to be accepted, and to belong.
Yeah.
Those three things are driving us. So early on in our life, we start to feel like, well, how am I going to pull that off? How am I going to get my parents and other people to love me, to accept me, and to belong?
Right.
So at that point in time, we come up with an idea of who we should be. We call this the idealized self, which becomes the false self. So now I put all my energy to be in this. Now, if I do anything that's outside of what those shoulds are, so the shoulds are the rules of the false self.
Wow.
So what we say,
I should do this.
yeah,
I should have
do
done
that.
this.
That's the idealized self. You
Yes.
see, if I'm that way, I'm okay. But as soon as anything that you do falls outside of those parameters, now you despise yourself. You hate yourself.
Wow.
So if one of your ideas, I should do everything perfect, what happens when you do something that's not perfect? You hate yourself for it.
Wow.
See, my family.
No. That was a question. That was a question.
I'm sorry.
Ask the question one more time, Burger.
No, so what do? If you do something that falls outside of these shoulds, you end up hating yourself. That's the despised self.
So
What
as
do
soon as you
do?
get to a space where I did something that I shouldn't have done, or I responded in a way that I shouldn't have, I behaved in a way I shouldn't have responded or behaved, now you're despising yourself for doing
Even
that.
if that response is totally human.
So watch this. This is great. So now that opens the door for guilt,
Yes, that's right.
shame.
Good music cue,
Right.
man. Like the music, that's
So-
the guilt music, man.
so
Perfect.
guilt-
We got the guilt music coming in.
So guilt and shame comes into play.
Feel it?
And that
You doing okay?
I wrote
this is good. Okay, this is Chintzy Jones right now. He's having
Quincy
he's
Jones.
having a moment. right?
Distantly related to Quincy
Right.
Jones.
Eddie Riley. But no, guilt and shame opens the door. And I think guilt and shame reinforces the addiction.
No kidding. So now I want to shut this down, right? How do I shut it down? How do I numb myself off? How do I not deal with this stuff? Because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. How do I deal with who I am, who I think I should be, and who I actually am? How does that all come together? And none of us know how to put that together right. But to own that, you see, nobody has an idealized self that says it's okay for me to be ignorant.
wow.
Right?
Wow.
We don't
yeah.
we don't own it. We talk about how important it is, but we don't own it.
Right.
I was ashamed of how ignorant I was. I didn't want you to know that. I
Right.
wanted you to think that I knew everything.
Yeah.
How the hell can I know everything? I can't know everything. But in my mind, if
I
I
need
didn't
to.
know, I need to.
So the idealized self is really the enemy.
Because you got it. It is not the solution it presented itself to be. That's right on, Zoe. It is not the solution it presented itself to be. It sends us down this path.
Yes.
And now all these things start to happen, and we never think that this started a long time ago with this direction that I thought I should be on.
Wow.
So the idealized self is literally a self-important, self-absorbed, self-righteous, pious motherfucker.
Even if it says the way I'm going to be loved and accepted is to be everything you need me to be.
Wow.
It's still all that. But you get it? That's
Yeah.
tricky. Some people don't get it. If I'm a people pleaser, am I still so focused on myself? Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
But you're focused on yourself, and that your job is to meet everybody else's needs.
Right.
Wow.
Right. You are basically and I have some family members like this who I like to call professional martyrs. They're always they get such gratitude out of telling you they stayed up all night to make the rolls. And I love going, well, King's Hawaiian has them right around.
But
You could save yourself 23 fucking hours.
Boy, you stupid.
But then they'd have to get off the cross. They don't
They'd
want to
have
get
to
off the
get-
cross.
Woo!
Come on, man. They'd have to climb off the cross. And it's
No.
Thanksgiving.
Hey, it's too much power on this cross.
That's right.
I'm Jesus, nigga. I'm the star of the show.
Jesus,
I'm on the
that's
cross. See on the dig? They all here to see me.
Where's the guy with the nails? Can we get this started? Yeah. They need that shit.
But what about
because that's what they headed out towards. See, that solution is called moving towards people. And what they do is they totally erase themselves. We call it a self-effacing solution. They erase themselves. They say, I'm not going to have any needs in this. My job is to take care of everybody else's needs. But they are the neediest person in the world while they're trying not to have any needs.
Oh, my God.
Because now, if you don't like those roles, what happens?
Right.
Oh my God, I was up all night.
Right. I was up all night.
Jeff,
with the
how
roll.
could you not like my rolls? You only ate one.
That's because I'm saving room for the King's Hawaiian rolls my wife brought. And she didn't stay up all night.
the King's Hawaiians?
Yeah, them the King's
Shout
Hawaiian
out.
rolls are beasts.
Off the
Count
chain.
King's
Off the
Hawaiian.
chain. Seriously.
But go ahead.
I had a question, but what happens when that's not the motivating factor, the self-realized person? Like, my family members were just really repressed Christians all their life when they coming up. They were just super
That still has to
super-
deal with the self. Because whenever you take on an identity, it could be Christianity. It could be Islam. If that is
what happened that was part of my family members, and then one family member who was always the black sheep, he went off and he did his own thing, became like this pimp, drug kingpin.
That was a drug kingpin.
Yeah. And so he introduced it to my family members. And so they were just really Christian and repressed. And so they kind of got away from the family and kind of got to a new state.
Right?
Yeah. And
Oh,
they were
that
like,
opened the door.
Yeah, he was like, oh, yeah, try this. And then boom, it just blew the hell up for like 12 to 15 years after that.
Wow.
But it was
And where was he in that at the end of the 15 years? Did he ever become a user himself? Did he ever?
Yes, he did. Everybody's off. Everybody's there. They're either in the church or they actually own a church now. My uncle, he actually runs a boys program.
Speaking in tongues.
Oh,
Runs a
should
boys
have come in the
program
shit.
now. So he got off that, did all that shit. Now he
Right.
runs a boys program. So everybody's out of it. But just then he was, it was that Christian, that suppressed Christian life or the repressed Christian life, and then everybody had to find their own little way out. But he found it first. He was just the most gangster, and he rebelled first.
Yeah.
Found that little way out, that little fun way, and then everybody else kind of followed him once he introduced it.
Well, see, what happened, and it's a great example of this. See, I think that we're all searching for freedom. All of us.
That's right.
And we want to be free from all this nonsense that goes on inside of us.
Right.
And so when drugs open that door, it looks like you're going to be free. Right? It looks
feels like that for that time you're on it.
That's such a listen.
30 minutes.
That's such a powerful point that he's making. because next to the orgasm,
Yeah, free.
drugs,
Yeah, drugs is free. Yeah,
is there.
Yep.
Dude.
Well, you're right. It's right
And
in the
food-
same
and then
part of the
food.
brain, man.
Right.
And what happens when you have an orgasm? If you really let yourself go, you are not in charge.
You're not there.
You're just it's happening.
Not if you do it
It's
right.
just
Ain't that
right?
Not if you do it right.
Not if you do it right.
Fuck them kids. I'm finna scream.
Right, Portney's complaint. Mom's walking in, and it doesn't matter. Mom's walking in. I'm gonna jizz.
You gonna fuck my mama walk in?
I don't give a damn.
Right on. So it's right next to that part of the brain.
Yeah.
And see, that reward center is so powerful. But here's the recent evidence. Not only does it hijack the reward center, but every other part of the brain is employed to support the addiction. So your motivation goes in that direction.
Right.
Your intelligence goes in that direction. Your judgment changes to support it. Every part. And so when we say the brain is hijacked, that's
Literally.
a 100% hijack, man. It's not just parts of the brain. The whole brain's gone down that path.
I had a friend actually who was one of the few people I know who was literally a functioning crackhead. Like this dude was, you would not know it. This dude was showing up to work. He'd buy his crack in bulk. So he like
Hold on.
Like at Costco or something.
Yeah.
He left at Costco.
Dude, so he didn't have to keep running out.
That's right.
stupid,
Oh, yeah.
Jeff.
It's,
And he
there's a
said,
method to
he
his
explained
madness.
it to me. He said,
This man right here.
smoking crack, he said the feeling was like coming for 30 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, dude, my life
Jeff,
is
hold
fucked
on,
up
Jeff.
with the 3 seconds that I feel.
Jeff, is this a goddamn infomercial for drugs?
No.
Or are we trying to get people off drugs? The shit was
right.
like coming
But
after 30
the
seconds.
thing is, the
I
guy
got
couldn't get an
addicts.
erection. Here's the truth of it is
I
the
wish
guys
he
that
hadn't
are
said that.
the guys that are using coke and crack, that they want to have sex, they can't. They can't get it up. I had this guy, he used to tell me he'd get 10 grand worth of coke and he'd get these high-end hookers and he'd go to the hotel room and he'd say, oh my God, my dick has shrunk into my body and I can't find it. And here's these two girls that are gorgeous and he wants to party with them. And all he could do is sit there, watch and be turned on completely with no erection.
Doc, what happened? My
Is that
dick is
torture
a
or
nipple.
what? I mean, is that like, what?
Okay, first off, I'm at the risk of oversharing.
Well, you did that. You're inappropriate.
It's gonna take a while for my dick to shrink all the way in. But on that road, when it started going this way, I got to go. Wait a minute, fuck.
That's right. It's not the right
this ain't
direction.
the right thing.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
the right. Something's
Part-
wrong here.
I would
Something's
like
wrong
to
here.
believe part of me.
So you
part of my
wouldn't
brain
need the
is like,
magnifying
yeah,
glass that he needed. He needed to get down there with a magnifying glass. You don't need that.
No.
Is what you're telling
I'm
me.
not. I don't have to
Is he
have a roll of
oversharing
dime.
again, Zoe? Does Jeff always overshare in these shows? Or what?
Yeah, that would be
I'm just
Jeff.
saying, when you said it went all the way in, I thought about
There's no room in there, is what you're saying.
No, I'm saying-
you'd have
No,
you'd have
I'm
like
just saying-
intestines coming out of
I'm
your mouth.
just saying, where
Second
did you
belly
say?
button.
If your dick makes it all the way into your body,
belly
two
button.
things come to mind. Where did it start? And where did you not go? Wait a minute, my dick is going in reverse. That's an issue, nigga. That's an issue. I'm sorry, that's an issue.
He's so rational. He's so rational.
If your dick becomes a cashew, it just curl up.
Cashew. There you go. Cashew Jeff. He's gonna get a new name.
No.
Cashew Jeff.
No.
Cashew G.
No, I would much no. How you gonna go from your dick looking like a baby's arm holding an apple to just a baby thumb? I can't. That's a progress.
Did
Okay,
you
let
say
me-
this was an X-rated show?
yes,
or was
let
it
me-
PG.
Let me pull
Sorry.
it back in.
Okay,
Jeff
that's already
done
been-
went
I'm sorry.
crazy. Jeff, this is a recovery show.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I know laughter
He
is
said
part
it
of the
went all the
healing
way up
It's
here.
not
process.
group therapy, Jeff. It's not group
I'd
therapy.
call myself.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in to the ZOWHAT Morning Show, I know it sounds like comedy, but it's a serious topic. The road to recovery. A more in-depth look at what it takes to rebound from substance abuse. And of course, we have the through lines of setting up an intervention, the do's and don'ts of that. You know, we're talking about the tools necessary because typically the family members are the one that's going to bear the brunt of the stress and the anxiety in dealing with it. And we've been covering a lot of angles here, and one thing I want to point out, and I want the doc to point this out for us. Dr. Alan Berger is our special guest. A couple of things, Doc. A lot of people in the chat room are asking if you have books. I have 3 of them. Right?
Yeah.
Could you tell the people those books?
Okay. Well, Hazelton has published 4 of my books. First one they published was 12 Stupid Things That Mess Up Recovery.
Oh, man.
And it's about if somebody's starting the journey, how they can sabotage it in the first year of their recovery.
Give us 2 of those tips.
One is putting less energy into your recovery than you put into going out and getting high.
Wow.
You got to meet your recovery.
Just shift the energy.
You got to meet your recovery at least with the same amount of zest and zeal that you went out there. And I don't know many addicts that didn't become the best addicts they could be. Wow. See, there's no half measures to be an addict. You got to go all the way, right? You got to go all the way. You're not going to do that half-ass. But you're going to get in recovery and do it half-ass, and you think something's going to change? Are you kidding me?
So it's like, this is such a great point. I can remember my son taking his visit to UCLA. And the coach said, listen, all you have to do is maintain a 3.5. He said, really, it's 3.0. But you're a good student. You come from a good school. I expected 3.5 from you. And he said, if you do that, you're going to be good. Then he turned around and said, the way we got it set up here for our student athletes, you really got to work hard to fail.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, you really got to put effort in
to
fall off.
An F takes
you gotta work hard.
Right. And a lot of times, people are so unaware of the effort that they're putting in to losing.
You got it. Right on.
They don't think there's effort there, but there's real effort to lose. Go ahead. Give me the other point too.
Well, another one is that thinking I only have a problem with, let's say, cocaine and that I can go drink. Or I only have a problem with heroin, I can go pick up some alcohol.
Wow.
Or I'm not drinking now, but I can smoke some weed. It's going to be legalized now. What's the big deal?
Wow.
But you see, what we say is a drug is a drug is a drug. And the brain doesn't know any difference. All it hears is party time.
Wow.
It's not. So you're going to lose control no matter what you're doing, because that's the nature of this problem. Eventually, if you are an addict, there's going to be periods of times when you cannot predict what's going to happen when you pick up and start using it.
Wow. You want to say something. Look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell. He doesn't hide that on his face.
He's an addict.
I get it. Yeah.
Where's those flaming shit?
No.
Look at this. That's what he walked in with.
I'm going to be really real with you. Before I say the ignorant shit, I'm going to say some real shit.
All right.
Do you know what I have to fight as an addiction?
What's that?
Chaos.
Oh, wow.
Chaos.
Interesting.
And I didn't get it until I saw the movie Changing Lanes with Ben Affleck and Sam Jackson. And William Hurt's character says that to Sam Jackson. He said, you're not addicted to alcohol. You're addicted to chaos. Because you don't know how to act unless Vietnam is happening.
That's right.
Now, when you said the thing, and I have a friend like that who say, if you see me drink a beer, it's a problem. Jump in because I don't know. And his thing was crack.
Yeah.
But if he drank a beer, he doesn't know where that's going. Now, when the only issue I take with what you said is weed. Okay, one, if you're gonna be addicted to something,
why you defending your drug of choice?
I'm gonna tell you why. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why. Because in 10,000 years, weed hasn't killed anyone. 2, the difference between weed and water, you can drink enough water to kill you. 3,
That's true.
I love it.
True. You cannot smoke it.
Keep going, Jeff.
3, if you smoking weed and you telling people that, again, you giving blowjobs behind Ralph's so you got money for weed, stop lying. You just like giving blowjobs behind Ralph's. There's the weed is not.
But what I got from what he said was, if you're addicted to something, you can't replace it with something else.
Right,
He's not
right.
saying that you.
But
addiction is a whole that needs
let's
something
talk
in it.
about marijuana, though.
Yeah,
Because that is
yeah.
a controversial.
We got to do it. We got to do it.
Look at. Recently, there was the first longitudinal study that took place. All right.
Yes.
They took people that started smoking weed when they were in their early teens, and they tracked them over the next 30 years of their life.
Yeah.
They categorized them as heavy smokers, meaning smoking a couple times a day, to moderate smokers, smoking a few times a week, to recreational smokers once a week or less.
Or less, right?
And what they did is they tracked them and they did all kinds of measurements. And you're right. You're not going to see somebody who's doing marijuana behind Ralph's giving a blowjob. But what you are, because what they're doing is they're sitting at home on their couch.
Yeah.
And they got some peanut butter and cookies and crackers and putting some jelly on it and listening to some music.
That's right.
So what happened to
just
these
described
folks
my
after
last night.
30 years?
They gained 30,000 pounds.
Their ambition was totally
Sucked up.
sucked up. And not only that, they had
So
memory
weed
problems.
kills ambition.
For
Weed
some people,
kills it.
depends on the person.
For some
If
people,
you're a
yeah.
heavy user,
It's-
we're talking about heavy users.
Heavy
now.
users.
I'm gonna need you to explain Snoop.
Yeah, Snoop smokes
Snoop's-
8,000 times an
I don't
hour.
understand.
Yeah,
No,
but
you're right, but there's going to be
Snoop-
exceptions to
Snoop
this.
is an anomaly.
You know, he's an anomaly, man.
Yeah.
There's going to be exceptions. There's people that
This
that
motherfucker
will-
changing the world.
There's a few
While smoking a
Seriously,
blunt.
while smoking a
That's
blunt.
right. And look, there's no question. And Snoop would have could have changed the world without it, probably.
Right.
Right. We don't know that answer.
Right.
We can't say the marijuana made Snoop. Snoop made Snoop. Right.
But marijuana though really it kind of enhances whatever you already are.
Yes.
If you're a lazy motherfucker, it'll make you even
You're gonna
lazier.
get incredibly
Yeah,
if you're creative.
if you're a masher, it'll help you
make
to
you
mash
mad.
even more.
But we do know that there are memory problems, and it's a different deal.
I'm sorry,
It's
what?
They're memory problems. If you're a heavy user, like, do you remember your name? What was your name?
I think they used to call me Charles.
Happy birthday to me.
I can say that memory
but
that
that's-
memory thing is bullshit.
Yeah.
'Cause I read things one time and remember them for 20 years.
Me too.
So
Oh, so
you
you
don't
got it.
smoke
So-
though. But you don't smoke.
I would love to be around Zoe smoking weed.
Why?
You know,
The deep
Why-
shit you say now.
Why would you do that?
What the deep shit you say now? Can you imagine Zoe smoking weed? Dude, Gandalf will come right in the room with y'all.
I'm
not trying to
rob you, Frodo.
So look, here's the way you decide if somebody's got a problem. If what they're doing, if they're drinking or using or smoking, is causing problems in their life, and they continue to do it,
Yeah.
then they got an issue.
Wow.
Right.
Yes.
So
yes.
right, so if your wife comes in and says, "I'm tired of you smoking and getting high all the time. I can't live with you like this. I want to be connected with you. I don't feel like I can." And you continue to do that, regardless of what that fact that it's causing problems in the family means
Right.
that the
You got a
marijuana is
problem.
too important to you.
It's
Right.
important
So,
to
that's
them
it.
motherfuckers.
So
Yep.
we're not against. I'm not against anybody
Right.
doing
Right.
anything.
No,
So you
I-
gotta
I'm
start.
not. I'm not into.
You gotta start out with a wife that smokes. Sound like
Well, that's one solution. Or if you got problems, you got to pay attention
you
to
gotta
what's
pay
going on.
attention. Absolutely.
And-
But you know what?
Masher
You know what I
smokes.
also think though. I also think
Get a wife that
that
smokes.
because
smoking just like an addict.
I also think that because a doctor may say something or a clinician may say something, people will take it as an absolute. Oh, but most doctors understand that there are no absolutes.
That's none.
Right? So again, this particular, program that we did showed in most people
Yeah.
positive benefits. Like the 12-step program doesn't work for everybody.
No.
But it works for a lot of people.
folks.
Right.
So based off of that alone, a lot of people take to the 12-step program.
That's right.
And then, the 12-step program has been adopted.
My family member got off.
Yeah.
So-
That's
right.
So the 12-step program has been adopted not just for addiction, but for many other
Liars Anonymous.
Liars,
Kleptomaniacs.
everything. You see what I'm saying?
Kleptomaniacs
So,
Anonymous. I mean,
so I think that's what I'm trying to bring about. That's one of the things we say on this show. There are no absolutes, and we use the term some banal. Some, but not all. Some banal.
oh, I like that.
Right?
I like that.
So I stole it from Robert Anton Wilson. Some banal. Right?
Yeah, it sounds like some shit there's a commercial for. Try Sambanol.
Oh yeah, drugs.
Yes.
Yes.
Symptoms include.
But you know what? If people did that, but you know what would happen if people did that? They'd have to let go of the rigid ideas about things. So,
Oh, God.
and see, this is part of that thing. Is that when I decided who I had to be, that was an absolute.
Oh, my goodness.
See, there was no negotiation for that.
Right. Say
and
more.
Now I look at the world in terms of these absolutes. Either I'm okay or I'm not. And there is no gray. And see, that's the issue. So some banal, new therapeutic approach to helping people.
You know what's really big about what you're saying? Addiction makes you black and white.
Yeah, that's right, man.
And life,
God damn it,
is gray.
That's right.
So now, coming back to nothing is perfect, you have to accept being a human. The ideal is imbalanced, right? Because it's either black or it's white. It's perfect, the idealized self. And then that becomes the mask. Yeah. And you're hiding behind that, and you're spending all your time and energy using the addiction to maintain and this mask here.
That's right.
Right? So now we're starting to see very clearly rigidity is there for that mask. Yeah. The rigidity ideas and thoughts and whatever perspectives and perceptions you have that hold that thing up. Man, it's about getting back to gray.
Well, it is. And see, what you're talking about is the way I define recovery is two things. I define recovery as the discovery of new possibilities in your life.
How about it?
And new possibilities in terms of your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your problems, and your relationships with other people.
Yeah. Recovery and relationships go hand in hand.
Hand in hand, man.
So the recent study out there is 69% of all couples have ongoing, unsolvable problems. They're just there.
Right.
And it's about accepting those problems. It's about accepting the limitations of resources and dealing with those problems. And it's about making it happen in spite of the existence of those problems.
And what we say is you need to have what we call an ongoing dialogue with those problems.
How about it?
We call it having an ongoing dialogue.
Yes.
And a dialogue that's not based on we're going to solve this. It's just we're going to keep talking about it.
Yeah, yeah.
And as we talk, we're grinding. And as we grind, that's when we start to refine ourselves and polish the relationship. Right. But most people don't know how to do that grinding.
Yeah. Well, the grinding itself is
a grind.
It hurts.
It does.
It's uncomfortable.
We're pain phobic, man. Let's face it. That's one of the reasons why so many people are using drugs. Dude. I don't want to feel my pain, man. I don't want to feel my anxiety. I don't want to feel like I'm less than.
Right.
I just want to be okay right now. Wow. Right now. Make it happen right now. Please, somebody make it happen.
What do you feel about people who've been in recovery for a certain amount of years, even just starting? Still calling themselves addicts.
Well, look.
Or I'm sober 20 years. Or I'm sober 30 years.
Well, let me share something personally. All right. So this summer, I have celebrated now 46 years clean and sober.
How about it?
My man.
46 years.
Here we go.
That's what's up.
And I still identify myself as in recovery from alcoholism and drug addiction. And that doesn't define me anymore. What defines me today, Kevin, is my recovery.
Right.
So my addiction, now I don't have that relationship with. I don't care who knows I'm an addict.
But you know what's so big? This is
it's
big.
Nothing to be ashamed.
This is big. Wait, you've heard me say this on shows before. I said, whatever you identify with, you have enlisted in the army of that identity. You have to fight for it. You have to fight for it. When people identify as Christian, everybody else is wrong. They have to defend their beliefs.
Right. If I'm a Christian, somebody's going to hell.
So that's part of their identity. So when somebody identifies as sober, they will defend their sobriety.
That's right.
Come on, man.
There you go.
That was my point. Because addict.
That wasn't your point.
That was my point.
Don't be stealing.
That was my point. Addict.
You're an addict of stealing.
He didn't steal your point. He acted like you stole his point.
But addict though, it means to sell out or to declare yourself to someone. It literally means to literally give yourself to declare yourself over to someone else.
What language is that word, Smith?
And see, in the way I use it today, Kev, the way I use it today,
Latin,
you're right on. You're right on with the way you're defining it. The way I use it today, I'm giving myself over to recovery.
Wow.
Right. No, I agree with your thing. I deal with vibration of words, and so as the word fate means that which is spoken. So when you say I'm an addict constantly over and over, you kind of identifying with that vibration. With you, you're sober. That's a different vibration. You're not saying you're an addict. You're saying you're sober. That's another.
Right.
That's
That's what
another
I'm saying.
vibrational word. So that's what I mean by when people calling themselves addicts, like for 20 something years. Like my family members, they've been
Can't leave
sober
this
for
man
20
alone.
years. They've been sober for 20 years, but they still say I'm a drug addict. They'll still say that. So do you believe in that?
Well, here's what I believe. You see, I have to know what I'm up against. And so I want someone to understand that they have a disease, that it's so documented. It's like if you're diabetic, you got to understand, man, you got to take, after you eat, you got to take that insulin, man. It's a biological necessity. I'm asthmatic. I need my asthma medication or else my lungs freeze up, right?
But you do. This is the thing. That's my point. I was asthmatic. I almost died twice from asthma.
Yeah.
I don't have it anymore.
Neither do I. Mine's controlled mostly. Mostly it's controlled. I can still flare it up if I get sick, if I get a bronchial infection.
Right.
Then I need to take some antibiotics. But so I don't go around defining myself as asthmatic.
Can't leave this man
but it's
alone.
okay
He only successful at
for
what he
me
do.
to know that I'm asthmatic, and if I start to get my chest tight, I go get the medication.
No, that's good. You still feel like you have that, but I'm saying, like, if someone has been sober that long, they no longer crave drugs or alcohol. Why should they still call themselves that? Because when I fill out forms, medical
I'll
forms,
tell you, man.
they'll say, "Do you have asthma?" I'll say no.
I don't know if that's fair to say.
What?
I mean, I get what you're
I don't
saying,
know if
Kevin, but it's a little.
Yeah. I don't think it's fair to say that an individual who has been sober 40 years now, because of habit or because of a continuous pattern, does not crave those things as much as it is fair to say that they have the proper mental, spiritual, physical, social tools to deal with those things. They have the people around them. They don't fuck around with the people who do that. They have people who just like if I play hockey, I'm probably gonna hang out with motherfuckers that skate.
Yeah.
They keep people around them, and they gird up themselves against it. But to say just because you got it for 40 years, you don't feel it. I don't know.
I understand that side of it.
So listen, I got to take a quick break because we're 12 minutes behind.
The rant.
Jeff Brown's intellectual. You've been ranting the whole show. You
Actually.
think you've already done rant?
Yeah.
Jesus. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the ZOWHAT Morning Show. Today's topic is heated. Goodness, there's a lot of people out there, man, that are struggling with recovery, addiction. And this is what this show is about. Our good friend, Dr. Alan Berger, has joined us. We're going to keep the conversation going. We're going to take a quick break. DJ Julian Ramirez is about to do this cold mix for us. And once that's done, hey, we're back in the building. All right? Deuces. Ladies and gentlemen, the ZOWHAT Morning Show back in the building. Having a great topic today. The road to recovery. An arduous one, to say the least. But you could conquer your Mount Kilimanjaro if you have the right support team. Right? And if you're willing. Gosh, man, this topic is heavy, man. Addiction, intervention, the do's and don'ts. We have special guest Dr. Alan Berger in the building. It's wild in a mug up in here right now. This is a show that people who don't know how to broach this conversation could go back and watch and extrapolate jewels from. You know, where to start, how to start. It's one of those kind of shows. So this is the MO of the ZOWHAT Morning Show. We like to produce content that you could use later on. Everybody wants to be entertained and stimulated, but no one wants to really do what it takes to get those tools to be a problem solver of one's life. And that's what this show is about. The road to recovery. We up here. Somebody said there's no sound. Oh, I'm sorry. That's on me. Forgive me. Okay, we're back. I have to turn the sound off. Let me tell you why. Because the DJ is playing copyrighted music.
Right. Yeah, we can. Yeah.
So I play, I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me, chat room. Chat room, be on it. Hey, so we can't hear you.
That's right. We can't play Wu-Tang. You know why? Because Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
Man.
Yeah, man. Hey.
And neither are their lawyers.
So listen, it's 12:30 or 12:23, and we are 23 minutes late for what has become one of the favorites of this show.
Really?
Jeff Brown's intellectual rant. Christ alive.
It's 23 minutes late.
Listen,
That puts it right in time.
You have, I'm just saying, you have 3 minutes to be inappropriate. We're going to get out of your way and let you just wild out. Jeff Brown.
Man, I play it around, I goof, I joke around, but just like everybody, and I'm gonna take it to color. Just like everybody black, I got somebody, and many somebodies, who have struggled with these monkeys on their back. And I, like y'all listening, am anxiously awaiting what the doc has to say about how to handle this, because I have much experience on watching it be handled wrong. Shit that I knew even when I was young. This ain't right, but I didn't have no answers, and most of us don't. I mean, how do you get to recovery with a hijacked brain? The thinker, the map, the guide, the compass, your magnetic north. It's supposed to be N, S, W, and E, and some motherfucker put an R in there.
Yeah, great.
How do you find your way?
That's really good.
How do you find your way? I don't know. I mean, the best that I can say to do for an addict is try to meet them where they are, and wherever that is, on a sliding scale. I think that's the first part, is realize that this shit is a sliding scale. And if you can't get them, you can't look your loved one in the face and believe that they get this. Because I have a few loved ones who finally got it, and it took them over a quarter century. Except that you, as a human, are a collection of chemicals. The solution to balancing those chemicals is not adding more chemicals. It's not. Whatever it is, whoever did you wrong, whoever molested you, whoever left you, whatever happened, whatever this thing is, the answer is not self-medication, even from my beloved weed. It's not.
Beloved weed.
Beloved brother.
Beloved.
Weed. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Dating weed.
I can't tell you. I'm gonna tell you this. I can't say this about heroin, cocaine, any of these other substances, but weed saves lives. Because if it wasn't for Purple Kush, I'd have killed that bitch I called my ex-wife long time ago.
Here we go.
Okay.
You didn't hear that, Doc. It's cool.
No, I'd have to do a terrorist off decision and call her up.
I'd
have to report him.
The need.
They're coming to take me away.
One is a sliding scale.
Like this.
Two, the concept that, I'm talking to you motherfuckers out there with what you ought to do.
What you ought to do.
You start your shit out. No. Or the international black woman sound for I don't believe shit you say. If you they don't give a fuck what you just did. Big mama, I just closed a deal for $2 million. I'm gonna buy you a house in the suburbs. Yeah, right there. She just negated all that. If you start your shit out with what you ought to do,
MHM.
right? If you start there and then go into what you ought to do, I'm gonna tell you right now to keep that what you ought to do to yourself, because you believe that whatever that what you ought to do, if that what you ought to do is found in Proverbs, if that what you ought to do is found even worse in you and your shit because it works for you, understand that the need for any one thing to work for every individual is sickness in itself. For you to believe that anything is one size fits all, Jesus ain't one size fits all once you figure out that the earth is older than 5,000 years. Going around pain is like trying to go around a fart.
It's hard
You
to get
can't
around
go around a fart.
No. A fart is ubiquitous.
It's ubiquitous, nigga. I didn't let loose. I didn't let loose with some shit that changed the humidity.
Hold your breath and let it pass.
Yes. You gotta find a way to deal with it.
pass.
You gotta find a way to deal with it. Okay? Because you're not gonna go around it. I think the best thing that you can do, again, is meet people where they are. And if they almost out, or they close to out, or they just getting in, and you can help them where you can. Be where you can with what the doc is saying. But I'm going to say this before he comes up with his solution. Sometimes I just got to try to be here when you wake up. I love you. I'm gone.
And Jeff Brown. It's wild. It's untamed. Beast of
stupid.
It's
Okay, fuck that. I gotta say this.
Abstract
I got my own
common
show.
sense.
I got my own, yeah, right.
Can't handle it.
I got my own show on
is
Thursday,
great.
and I never, Zoe been my man for years, and I thank you, bro, for giving me an opportunity, for riding with me all these years, and producing my shit for me. But I'm gonna tell you something. The shit you see Zoe do, he's so good at it that he make it look easy. I talk for a living, and doing your own show is a bitch, and I have to give it to you,
different
bro.
get down,
I have to
ain't
give
it?
to you. Yeah, it's a different get down.
Yeah, that's why you've been fucking with me for years. So that was Jeff Brown's intellectual rant.
Yeah.
He's all over the place, but it all comes together at the end. Very, very
I'm coming
poignant
back down. I
stuff.
turn red, black, and green, and rip out my clothes, and then I come.
No, man, I love it, Jeff.
Thank you,
know,
brother.
I love the work that you've been doing. Your show is getting better and better.
Thank you, brother.
And we're gonna keep pushing.
Thank you,
We're gonna make it work, you
Thank
know? But on today's topic, the science of recovery, I have a very serious question to ask, because a lot of people get it wrong. Whether they're your significant other, whether they're family, they get it wrong. What does help or support really look like? And I'm talking about the good stuff.
Yeah.
Not the enabling, not the contempt and the expulsion. What does support and help actually look like, Doc?
Well, it's a great question.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I loved your rant, man.
Thank you,
By
brother.
the way,
Thank you,
that
thank you.
was very heartfelt.
Thank you.
And I think it can open a lot of people's hearts and minds to looking at this thing in a very different
Got
way.
to, man.
And that's what we're talking about. You know what I would say to those folks, though, especially to family members? Start getting yourself the help that you want that other person to get.
Wow.
Instead of focusing on them, go to Al-Anon. Go find a great therapist that can help you deal with things. Because as you said, look, the consciousness that's creating the problem is not going to solve it, man. Wow. We know that. The consciousness that creates the problem can't solve it. So you got to get some new information in there. And whether you get it by going to a self-help group like Al-Anon, which is great, CODA, Codependency Anonymous, another great group, or find a therapist who works with folks, you know, that are struggling with this issue. If you start to change what you do, you're going to have an impact. You know this, and I know this. We've talked about it. It takes one clear person to have
That's
a good relationship,
That's
man.
it. That's
one
it.
clear person. I just got to get clear. Because if I get clear, I'm going to change what I'm doing with you.
Shout out
if
to
I
my
change what I'm doing...
No. Listen.
This is
First off, we can't let you move past that, because
Yeah.
that was such a bomb.
Yes.
Did you say it one more time? It takes what?
one clear person to have a better relationship.
So all you motherfuckers out there thinking you clear, still experiencing some bullshit,
Right.
You're not clear.
you're not clear.
You're not
clear.
clear, man.
Because
You
there's
gotta break.
always two people in the relationship thinking they're right, their perspective is
problem's
right.
over there.
They get it. You're the problem. You're the issue. If you would change,
that's right.
It takes one. That was 9.4 on the
Bruh,
Richter
let me
scale.
tell
We
you
about to
something.
have a tsunami in this. Watch out! God damn!
I can tell you what that did for me. That one clear person.
Shit.
It made it very evident to me how toxic the relationships I have been in were, because I was the clear motherfucker. Can you imagine?
You were not
where
clear,
Jeff
Jeff.
Brown is the clear motherfucker.
Your last name is Brown. There's no way you can be clear.
If Jeff is setting the baseline for clear, there's problems.
The
is what he's
last
saying.
name Brown implies some shit.
It implies
Shit. There's some shit. And as I look back,
brown is English for the Latin bile. No, I'm just making up.
fuck my life up. I'm going to go home and smoke to get around this shit. No, but yes, like I was the dude. If I'm the dude, like a lot of times,
I'm the dude. We're in
yeah,
trouble.
my family's back, and shout out to my family in
lot of
Chicago.
people are saying that
Like
right
shit'll
now.
hit the fan with my family, and they'll call me. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Don't call me.
I'm the judge. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
All right,
Buckle
then.
up.
Y'all asked for it.
Exactly.
But Doc, continue what you were saying. That was
Well,
powerful.
so
man.
look, so if I start looking at what I'm doing, my habitual way of thinking and responding to a situation, I first have to become aware of that so that I can open myself up to some new possibilities. So it might be, let's say, I'm Jeff's dad for a minute. I'll role play this for a second.
Yes.
Instead of me
No,
coming to
role play.
saying how what a
fuck you been?
disappointment you are, Jeff, and your
Fuck you
fucking life.
disappointed in me. I'm just meeting your ass.
See that? There we go.
Let it out,
This
Jeff.
curly hair got
All
my
right,
ass
let me
whooped.
be Zoe's dad for a minute.
Where the fuck you been? Where the fuck you been? This bitch 1978. This is the last time I seen you.
Don't nobody go that far for some god fucking milk.
If I say to Jeff instead of that, look, son, I realize that I've failed you. That what's going on here is that I've been focusing so much on what you're doing that I haven't been paying attention to what I'm doing.
Wow.
Can you imagine the different conversation we can start to have? And if I start talking about I've shamed you, I've put you down, I've sent you messages that I've been, when I look at them, are horrible, they're toxic, I haven't had faith in you, and I want to become a
that.
better father. And I'm going to do that regardless of what you're doing. You see what I did? I just changed the rhythm. I just changed the conversation. Now we're not doing what we did before. Me blaming you for ruining my life.
Right.
Me blaming
Right.
you for not being who I think you should be.
Wow.
See, so that's what we're trying to get people to do, man, is to really own their own struggles in this.
Is there anybody?
That's heavy.
Have you thought of this? Is there anybody that you've ever seen, and should there be more of these people that own up to being the straw that broke the camel's back?
Oh, yeah.
For a person's lack of sobriety.
Yeah, I've seen people, and I don't want them to take, because look, every individual is responsible for themselves. So I'm not
Absolutely.
going to have somebody blame themselves for what somebody else is doing, right?
Right.
But I am going to ask people to take responsibility for what they're doing. So I'm going to say things like, I haven't made this easy for you.
Right.
I haven't made your recovery easy. I keep distrusting you instead of being able to manage my own anxiety. See, if I can start talking to you like that, then I can start owning how I haven't made it okay for you. But now here's another part of this conversation, and where my
Shit, I'm finna steal that.
That's big. That's big.
well, and where my work's gone recently, Zoe, is in this whole area of emotional sobriety.
I was about to ask.
You
I done made
I mean,
shit.
so, let me define that real quick. So emotional sobriety is when the best of me speaks for the rest of me.
I can't write this fast, man. Shit.
It's when the best in me speaks for the rest in me.
Yeah.
So it's when what I do becomes the determining force in my life. And I don't get overly influenced by what you or other people are doing. I mean, I loved what you said about the expectations. Look, I'm not here to live up to anybody's expectations.
Right.
We know that that's a recipe for a disaster. So what this emotional sobriety thing, can I give you a quick anecdote?
Go.
So I want
Yes,
to tell you a
yes, yes,
situation I faced. So 5 years ago, my wife and I got pregnant. At that time, she was at UCLA. She was doing her postdoc in cancer biology. She's a smart woman. I don't know what she ended up with me for, but that's
Hey,
anher
the way
subject
it's
on
supposed to
another
feel.
day.
Sometimes we win.
Honey,
That's the way
did you
it's
hear
supposed
that?
to feel. That's the way it's supposed to feel.
So
Sometimes we win.
All right. So you at UCLA, went through the midwife group to have this child. You got to go through all this genetic testing because they want families to be ready if there's any problem coming down the pike. They want to be able to mobilize the resources so it's not happening
Get
when
out
the
in front of
child's
it.
born. You're getting out in front of it. So they take all this blood and stuff like that, and we're going to these baby visits. One day I'm driving home. We just left the midwife's office. My wife calls me. She's panicked, out of her mind. She's going, when you left, the midwife called me back up, and they said the results of the testing is back. Now, they test the woman first, because if she's okay, it doesn't matter what we do. Seriously. We're not going to have that big of an influence. It's what's happening on the woman's side. So they didn't do any testing with me. They called her back, and they said, look, you have this gene that if your husband has it, your child has a 25% chance of having this spinal muscular atrophy. And in the worst case, it means your child will live to, she's about 1.5 years old. In the best case, 14 years old. She'll never live free from life support.
Wow.
A newborn, a mom pregnant doesn't want to hear this, man. And then I heard it. I'm crying. I go back to try to, we're bawling. They have to take blood from me. It's going to take 6 weeks before we get the answer.
That's excruciating.
So that night, man, it's like I'm crying, she's crying. What we say is that the brighter you are, the more catastrophic your thinking can get, because you can come up with all kinds of crazy shit that's going to happen.
You understand.
And we were mind fucking ourselves to death that night, right?
And not in the good way.
Pain all over the place, man. I mean, I called, reached out to friends. She did. And friends can say, hey, I'll be there for you. I want to be helpful and all this other stuff. But it doesn't help.
No,
right?
Not then. No.
So I kept asking myself, I've lost control of myself here, man. How can I find my balance again? How can I get centered despite this information? Tried to go to sleep that night. I don't think we got much sleep, because you know how that goes, man. You're tossing, you're turning, you're waking up, you're thinking
not after
this,
hearing
you're
some
thinking
shit
that.
like that.
Not like that. And then in the morning I got up and I said, oh my God, and it hit me. I said, what am I letting this situation decide this for? When Maddie's born, am I going to love Maddie regardless of how she comes in this world?
Regardless.
And I said to myself, if God gives her to me for 1.5 years, I'm going to love that child a lifetime in 1.5 years. And if I'm so blessed to get her for 14 years, then I will love her for those 14 years.
Wow.
That my love for her is not being determined by this possibility.
Wow.
And it's a possibility.
Wow.
It was a possibility. And when I said that, Jeff, my God, it was done. I was
Love
finished
conquers
with
all,
it.
man.
I shared that then with my wife. Her anxiety stopped. Then I had the second thought. You know what? She won't know any different.
Right.
Her world is going to be seen through my eyes.
That's right.
So if she's on a machine, she's on a machine. That's all she knows. She doesn't know what I know about life.
Right.
That's her life.
It's some motherfuckers with perfectly healthy kids they can't fucking stand.
Right. But that's
really.
that's emotional sobriety.
If I had a crystal ball, I'm be honest with you. If I had a crystal ball, I got 5 kids. If I could see the future back then, couple of them disappear. I ain't gonna tell you which two, because I don't want to fuck them.
That's the opposite of emotional
They gonna come back and ask you themselves.
That's fucking true.
They gonna come and ask you themselves.
So how many sessions do you want me to have with him? How many?
This motherfucker needs some
should I get him
sessions.
on my couch?
Yes.
Well, how many sessions?
And
Yeah,
strap his
man.
ass down.
No, I'm gonna tell you something else that really stuck out to me. The way you talk about your wife is in the high regard that I speak of mine, and I say this all the time. If you don't feel that you are just blindless, clueless, doodah, Forrest Gump, lucky to be with the woman you with, either one or both of y'all ain't shit.
Interesting.
Let me just...
But look, if I can help an addict get that, do you see the freedom they have, man?
Right.
Now, no matter what happens in their life. See, what I say, Zoe, all the time, trouble doesn't mean something's wrong.
Right.
Trouble is an invitation to grow yourself up.
Yes.
To help you
see-
develop something that you don't have.
But see, this is why I'm seeing so many different crossroads here in this conversation. Number one, the content of your consciousness creates the reality you live in.
Right on, man. That's right.
So I'm listening to what the doc is saying. What the doc just did was showed you how to shift your perspective, your perception.
That's the Kabbalion mental transmutation.
And in doing so, right, in doing that, you get to experience something different. And a lot of times when fear is in play, because that was fear, the possibility.
Yeah.
Right?
Riddled with fear.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, from the clinical standpoint, anxiety is just another form of fear.
Right on.
Right? And these are things that are projected from our mind. They're not clear and present danger, like if you were in a goddamn bank and somebody pulled out a 44 Magnum. That's real
legit
fear.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
But the fear of I'm alone with myself,
Right.
Yeah.
projecting this reality that I'm going to take up residence in.
Catastrophic expectations, we call them.
So now we look at the addict as someone who is in relationship with this fear construct. Right?
And they get to the point where they don't believe that they can function without the alcohol. I mean, they are so afraid of losing that drug because then they don't have any other possibilities. And that's where I totally align with what you were saying. You get so identified that this is me.
Yep.
And the good news to say to every addict out there listening to this show and to say every family member, that's not that person.
No.
That's just a manifestation of what they've done to this point to get themselves to that. And they can discover, they can have this shift that you're talking about in perspective and see themselves and their problems and their relationships in a whole different light.
Wow. Go ahead, Jeff.
Something, and you'll
don't
know
want Kevin
this
to talk?
This is not really. You know.
Go ahead.
You'll know this is. This is other thinking. This is not just this is a higher self thinking.
Yeah.
Is what you're trying to get an addict to see is that this chemical place that you arrive at with whatever alcohol or your drug of choice makes you feel, because you're in an altered state, you can't even wrap your brain around feeling that way any other way. And it's not about the high that this brings you. It's about the perceived peace or the perceived absence from whatever it is. And that way that you arrived at this perceived absence is that you didn't walk up here. You didn't get a ride here. You were dropped out of a fucking helicopter here. You jumped off of a building here. You got to find another way to get here without falling off of this building all the fucking time. You know you can walk up here. Okay? Now, you splattered on the fucking pavement and you are geographically, longitudinally, and latitudinally here. But how well are you here? How much mess did you make getting here? There's guts and shit on people's shoes.
You know what Jeff reminds me of, Kev?
What?
Boomy.
With Boomy.
Avatar.
From the Avatar.
Last Airbender.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see it.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Oh, I gotta watch it
Movie's
now.
off the chain.
He's like the crazy wisdom guy.
I don't know whether to say thank y'all or fuck y'all until I watch it.
It's thank you.
These motherfuckers.
It's thank you. It's thank you.
It's thank you.
So another thing I say to a lot of addicts, if I'm working with them, that are really putting up this whole thing about I don't think I have a problem.
Yeah.
I asked them one question. I said, is there any part of you that's had a question about what's going on in your life? Is there any part of you that's wondered if you had a problem? You're not used to speaking from that part of you. Could we take a minute and create some room for that side of you? Let's put the guy that's used to telling everybody, I don't have a fucking problem, over here for a second.
Let's sit him down.
Put him over here. Let's leave him over on that couch. Now, let this other guy in you talk. Because I've found that everyone that has an addiction, there's been a moment they've had where they thought, this isn't right. Man, there's something going on in my life. But they're so used to defending themselves to everybody, they haven't listened to that voice. And so if we can create that space for that voice, man, things can happen.
How do you hug the darkness? How do you embrace it?
Man,
Because that's a real big part. That's a step.
it is, man.
Where you accept it and you embrace it. How do you do it? Because so many people, like I said, spend this inordinate amounts of effort we talked about earlier. It takes effort to run away from the problem. It takes effort to maintain the mask. It takes effort to ignore the darkness.
Yeah.
How do you acknowledge and then embrace?
Well, see, I befriend it because I say you were the best possibility I had at that time. You helped me at that particular point in time.
Wow.
And now I got to update.
This is big. This is you gave me something at that moment. I needed you in this moment, but I don't need you anymore.
Yeah, that's it, Zoe.
Wow.
That's right. Now I can find some ways of giving myself something that can truly give me something that's more nourishing, because this one's got a lot of toxicity in it. It's a solution, but it turned out to be a solution like the guy that's on fire that jumps off the end of the pier. He puts out the flames, but he doesn't know how to swim.
Wow.
Right?
You got another batch of problems.
Wow.
Another batch of problems.
You were the bridge I had to go across.
That's right, man. And then I can befriend that side of myself and know that side was just a step in my development. But it's not me.
That's
Right? It's not me.
It's not you.
Wow.
I got a cousin.
That's big.
Yeah, I'm gonna put your shit out there, Richard. My cousin.
You got another story? Didn't you have a 3-minute rant?
My cousin named Richard. We used to call him Big Ricky. You didn't want to see Big Ricky coming. Big Ricky, a whole different dude than Richard. And I had to sit him down and go, dude, we come from the same place. The zip code 60636 is in the top 3 worst zip codes in the nation in Chicago. That's where I was raised. I said, dude, I understand. You needed Big Ricky. Big Ricky. Big Ricky was what made niggas go, you know what? That's Big Ricky mama house. We ain't breaking in there. Here come Big Ricky. Bruh. You don't need Big Ricky at the PTA meeting. You don't need Big Ricky when somebody cut you off to get gas, man.
Not at the PTA
You got to
meeting.
put Big Ricky back in the glass case.
Right on.
And I'm
Right
not
on.
saying he got to die.
That's
He
right.
just can't lead no more.
You just got to be on call.
Right.
Big Ricky gonna have you behind.
We got to put on call.
Big Ricky in
Put
a glass
me on
case.
call.
Yeah.
Put him on call.
Put Big Ricky on retainer. Pin.
That's right, on retainer.
Retainer.
Big Ricky is Annabelle. You put Annabelle in that case.
Oh, that doll.
And don't open that case.
Oh, you
That's Big Ricky.
You ever seen that movie?
No, which movie is this now?
Oh, the evil movie Annabelle.
The evil doll.
No, I don't.
You don't like scary movies?
Well, it's not that I don't.
If your wild ass is scared of scary movies, I'm really gonna
it's
clown.
not that I don't like scary movies. It's just that movies have a certain amount of time in my life minutes, and I'm usually sharing those life minutes with my wife, who does not watch scary movies. So I can't. When she go to bed, I go to work.
So, hold
I
on.
don't have time to go. Yeah.
You gonna blame your wife? I sense the fear in you.
You said I sense the.
You don't want to. You don't want to watch the damn movies.
He blamed his wife.
No, I like to get high first and watch scary movies. I love that shit.
No, don't do that.
Is that wrong to admit on an addiction show? I do.
On an addiction show.
Okay.
All right, Jeff. Really, I was called in here to do an
I get high as a lifeguard.
This is an intervention.
Addiction
This is
show.
intervention.
Zoe
show.
called me to come in and do an intervention on you. This is
He
turning into an
clearly needs
intervention.
It's not going to work. You better got a better.
we got a better Betty
You got
Ford
a-
for you, man.
You got a better shot at intervening on these flaming
Hot
hots.
Cheeto.
than you do with-
So
Hot
listen.
Cheeto intervention.
So listen, we're towards the end of the show. Doc, we need a few tips. All right? We need tips on how to start an intervention. Just give us 2 really powerful tips on how to start it. And then 2 powerful tips on what not to do.
Like my people.
Well, look, to start it is to first of all understand that when you get an intervention, it's not just to help the addict. So that's the first tip. When you reach out to help, and don't do an intervention yourself. That's one of the knots, right? Don't do
Don't
this
do it yourself.
man.
Don't
Get
come
somebody
front.
to help you.
Yeah.
But when you reach out to that person, it's not only help me or help us with our addict, but help us better deal with this situation. So the problem just doesn't become that person's issue, right? It's a family disease. We want everybody to get better. So the conversation changes a lot. Like I said, when I start to talk to you about, I haven't been very helpful here, and I've been part of the problem instead of you're the problem. You see what I mean? So we want to get that to be the focus, though. That to be the focus, get some help. This is a tough one to do on your own, because just like when your friend did it, it gets turned around, and if
Man,
you don't know how to
flip
deal with
quick.
that stuff, man,
I mean-
it's going to go down.
That shit
It's
went
gonna
down
go-
real quick.
Yeah, real fast, man. And so you got to have somebody there. Now, what I would say is be careful. There's a lot of people. The intervention business is not regulated. You can put up a sign. I can put up a sign. Anybody can go out there and do intervention. Somebody listens to the show after they're done. They say, well, Berger taught me what to do. I'm going to be an interventionist. Well, don't. Go to someone and talk to them and see if they're a fit with you and how they deal with what the problem is. If they're talking to you in the way that you hear me talking about this, then they might be a good fit for you and to go forward. So that's the first thing, man. Approach this as we need help, not my addict needs help, and get someone to help you do the intervention.
Wow. That's good shit.
I had a question. The person that you get to help do the intervention, that person needs to be someone separated from the situation so they can have...
That's right. You want somebody that's objective, that can sit down there and pull this all together and try to create an atmosphere that's going to invite someone to bring the best of them to the scene.
Wow. Go ahead, Jeff.
By default.
You want to speak in the mic? You done got cool and shit.
Oh shit! No, because he did that. Well, first off, I'm gonna talk to you
Come
off
on,
the air
adult face.
about becoming an
Interventionist.
about becoming a ghetto interventionist. Okay, I got a whole different.
You need Jesus.
I saw your face when he said that.
Yeah, when he said that shit, because I got a whole different demographic than you. I got a whole different
You do.
demographic of motherfuckers.
He was like, not regulated.
I found my career.
Not regulated.
I found my career. I'm not regulated.
Don't say not regulated.
God's sakes.
You mean I don't need a 501c3? I don't need none of that shit. I'm finna start tonight. All right. No.
This shit easier than Uber.
Pays better, too. A lot better.
That's right. I'm giving me a shirt that said "fuck Uber." By default, that person we love needs help.
That's right.
We all, on some level, need help.
Yep.
Hey, you guys who are purporting to be normal, why don't we start with these high and mighty normal brains in here? And let's help these brains first before we get to the hijack.
And that's what a good interventionist does. It helps that person become aware of how they've unintentionally enabled and contributed to the problem.
Change my goddamn tax bracket.
You know what? Hey, listen, Jeff, we at the end of the show.
Oh, yeah, that's hilarious.
Let me just say, I thought one of the more powerful points that you made earlier was before you seek an intervention, you should go get therapy yourself.
That's a good idea, man.
You know, it's almost like an exorcism.
And a good interventionist will do that, to tell you the truth, Zoe. They'll be encouraging somebody to do that.
Yeah. It's all,
Jeff, so you wanted.
No,
now I'm thinking about
it's
exorcism.
almost like an exorcism.
Oh my God! It just
write this down.
No.
Any
What I
new
mean
shining
is,
object.
what I mean is, you can't come in with your own demons.
You got it,
because
man.
the demon you trying to fight is going to recognize the demons in you.
And it's going to undermine the intervention.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. If I get in there and start blaming that person that my life isn't working because of them, that's not going to be inviting.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm doing that to Jeff, Jeff's out of the door, man. He's
The
saying,
power
screw
of
you.
Jesus compels you, motherfucker. No,
You need to get off that shit, nigga.
Yeah, right.
You understand? You need to get off that bullshit. Fucking up your life and shit, you know. This is the bullshit. You know our family was never like this, you know.
Pass me that lighter.
You get
Pass me
that
that lighter over
bullshit,
there.
nigga.
If you just smoked weed, everything'd be fine.
See, I'm on some shit from God.
That's right. It's
on that
organic.
bullshit, my
This
nigga.
shit's organic. I go to the organic growers.
You on that
We're
bullshit.
here for you. We love you.
That bullshit, my nigga.
Oh, no, this was great. Listen, man. As I always say, man, we don't come with all the answers. We just start the discussion.
That's right.
You can find Dr. Alan Berger where?
Well, www.abphd.com. That's my website, and you can check out my books there. I've got some audio recordings, and look, I'm hoping that we do some audio CDs on relationships.
We're about to
man.
kill the game. You
That's
and
right. We are.
They don't even know what's coming.
They don't know
We're about to
what's coming.
kill the game. Dr. Berger, PhD.
Dr. Berger.
And Zoe Williams.
Williams.
Talk on relationship.
Unfucking your relationships yet.
Yes. That's what's happening. Listen, we thank you for tuning in. You already know the Voice of Reason comes on later on this evening, 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Same channel, Dash Talk. We'll be back in 2.2. Much love for the show. Thank you so much. Deuces.